Simone was able to take it all and overhaul the multi-time champion Gernot Frische. Does this signal a changing of the guard in the Lotus 79 community? Tomas will certainly be eager to prove his triumph was not a fluke. Today starts his chance to do so. We'll see if he can carry on with the momentum as we get ready to watch round one of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Ossian Puhaka. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Multiple series have elected to start the season off here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's a testament to the popularity of the circuit, but being well-loved does not mean it's without its own set of challenges. Let's take a closer look to see what kind of difficulties it entails. Welcome to Suzuka Circuit. Perhaps most famous for its hosting of the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix for much of the event's history, this track sees all sorts of racing besides that. In fact, this place began as a test track for Honda, but later proved to be a driver and fan favorite for competitive motorsports as well. Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why. There's a little bit more about Road America, but for the real nitty-gritty, let's go to Ozzy and find out what the drivers are up against in terms of the Lotus 79.
Well, the nitty-gritty certainly ain't itty-bitty here. Welcome to Road America, welcome to Elkhart Lake, and this is one of the most interesting places to start off a season from. Wonderful circuit located in the beautiful Wisconsin, amidst the woods, amidst the lakes, and a perfect place for racing, really. You got tons of overtaking opportunities, you got a lot of technical challenges in terms of corners, and you got those long straights where the surprisingly nice draft of the Lotus 79 can play into the hands of drivers wanting to make a move.
Now, the driver who made a move last season and managed to get himself up at the top was Tomas Simone. If you look at the points from last season, he wound up what looks like a decent amount ahead of Frische. But remember, up until that last round, it was incredibly tight between them. Alex Millward came close as well, but towards the tail end of the season, he started to fall away and lost his opportunity before the final round mathematically got eliminated. Bascalampi and Bycroft rounding out those top 5. Bycroft, of course, having only a couple good moments last season, as it seemed like he was just struggling with a little bit of bad luck. Now, for the Classic Teams Championship they run, Ozzy, why don't you give us the update on that?
Yes, the Classic Teams Championship last season, it was the Paramount Racing team, also known as Brabham, which got the championship glory ahead of Candy Team Tyrrell. So Vaskilampi, Costa, and Herner crowned the team champions. SX Lotus running out the top 3 with Williams Racing in 4th place and Arrows Racing Team in 5th. And, it might not change that much this year, despite the different drivers. We always have the runner-ups, but we also have the favorites.
Of course. Now, if you're watching the Sunday Grand Prix series for the first time, let's give you a little bit of race detail so you kind of know what to expect here. We are in round 1 out of a 12-week season. It'll be 22 laps that they will be racing here in Wisconsin today. The cars are open setup, but the interesting thing about these retro communities here on iRacing is they're so close-knit, they're not afraid to share setups with one another and make sure that everybody gets up to speed. Now, incident points can be an issue if you get a little bit sloppy out there. You can wind up being penalized with a drive-through, or you can actually be disqualified as well if you abuse the track limits or, well, bumping into each other too much. Hopefully that won't be the case today. This is usually a pretty good group in terms of racing etiquette. Also, we want to remind you to advertise with us. GSRC offers a wealth of options to help you get your branding seen on a platform with over 1 million monthly impressions. If your organization is looking for a global audience to advertise with, look no further than GSRC. Follow the link in the description below to learn a little bit more. Waiting for drivers to put their first timed lap in, and I believe we're going to be getting a couple of them across the line in just a few seconds, as it takes a bit, even in the very powerful, very fast Lotus 79, to try and get across. So here we have, it looks like, is that Rosimas? That was Ronnie that just crossed first and currently holds that provisional pole as a few more come in. That might change. We're still waiting for Freesia to come to the line as well.
Very impressive from Rinne, knowing that he's not been having the chance to practice too much for this week. I know that for a fact, Severi Seppa now takes the provisional pole position away from him. Looking very good for the Finns. 1, 2, 3, and 4, way by way, more and more. Make that 5 with Eetu Vainio-Kangas. Now Carl Villeneuve breaks it. Let's see what Marco Kela can do here. 153.2 the beat, goes 153.3 and takes the second place. But we are starting to see more and more good laps. I'm looking at Gernot Fritsch right now. Steve Bycroft coming over the line as well. Let's see what his time will be. But I'm looking at Gernot Fritsch. He is going to be a man on a mission this season. I just know it. 153.3. Not such a good first lap, but look out for his second one.
Yeah, that actually puts him down in 10th. He was a little slow in qualifying at times last season as well. So need to see if this is going to be a bogey track for him, as we now have Alex Millward coming across the line. 53.376. That'll put him up into 4th place and only 4 1,000ths behind Marco in that number 4 car. So it is extremely tight. In fact, the top 5, it looks like, only a 10th and a half apart from one another. And considering this is a 4-mile track, that is impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Takes almost 2 minutes to get a lap done here. 6.5 kilometers for those wandering in the metric world. And well, certainly each and every one of those kilometers is more demanding than the last. It's very easy to throw a lap down the drain, but not only are the margins closed, they are closed very well to very far. I mean, you got from Tamás Simon to Mike Rasimas, you got only half a second. And between Marco Kela, Alex Millward, and Oskar Rinne, 3, 4, and 5, you got 4 milliseconds. 4.
Whew. Just ridiculous. Now, very few drivers seem to be improving on the second lap. Seppa didn't. Freakton Kate didn't get his first time counted. Apparently, he must have had an off track somewhere in there. Let's see. Villeneuve's going to abandon his second lap. He's not happy with it. What about Steve Bycroft? My goodness. This is highly unusual. The weather is slightly warm, but not outrageously so. So it's 96 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So the Hoosier is up and to the line. He sits in 9th place. He seems confident enough, but he also does not improve. 0.3 slower. Boy, what is happening on these second laps?
Well, I think because it's such a long lap show that people are taking a good outlap. They are taking a fast outlap, and that's why they are messing up their tires. Alex Millward as well, stopping on the line, realizing he doesn't improve, so they're messing up their tires on the first lap, and they have maybe fueled themselves for 2 laps, but they're realizing that the first lap will be faster. And Derek Rolleveld, let's see if he can improve on the second one. That first lap certainly left room for improvement, about 2 seconds to the lead. And he does improve 155.1, so at least one driver gets improvement on the second lap.
Kankate now coming through the kink. Should have enough time to get there. He's getting quite a bit of shade, actually. And I don't mean the bad kind. He's the sun is behind the clouds, cooling the track down. It's actually gone down almost 4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be awful tight. He might be able to get there in time.
Yeah, it's going to be, okay, 10 seconds coming into the last corner. This is going to be very close for Freak Tenkate. And we are counting it down, actually. 5, 4, 3. He's not going to make it. 2, 1, and no.
He was about 200 feet shy. Oh, poor Freak.
So he got the shade.
He did. In the end, let's go through our starting grid for today. Simone on the pole to pick up where he left off, but Severi Seppa is going to try and see if he can challenge him. Marco starting in the 3rd position in his number 4, has the inside of row 2, and then Alex Millward to his outside in 4th. Ascari Rina will be in the 5th position, followed by Timu Vascalampi in 6th. Andy T, P7 for him. Carl Villeneuve with a very good qualifying starting 8th today. Bycroft, one of those that could not improve, starts 9th. And Jaki Lithunder will round out your top 10.
Gernot Fritsche gonna be starting 11th, a multi-time champion. The Rottekamp-Flieger will be 11th, will be sure to make a charge here up into the tails of his fellow drivers. Eetu Vainiokangas starting 12th, Mike Rasimas 13th, Uwe Trengeride 14th, Thomas Torp, Edmund Blackadder, Peter Konieczny, Pauli Partanen, Michael de Turk, and Derek Rolleveld rounding out the top 20, with Freak Tenkate, Tobias Werner, and David Acevedo left without a time. So Joe, gonna be a lot of interesting storylines. My pick for the qualifying, both Severi Seppa and Marko Kela, really good. Not such an impressive qualifying, however, for the likes of Gernot Fritsche and Mike Rasimas.
All right, 23 cars. This is top split today. For those not familiar with iRacing, they split it if it reaches a certain number, and 36 is the most they can have in a split. So this is all the drivers with the top I rating, the highest rated drivers of today's event. So as we wait for the rest of them to get out there, looks like they're there. So the lights come up, the engines start to rev. Green flag is out. Ooh, a very bad start from both Seppa and Marco, as he's going to be overtaken. Alex Millward managing to get himself into 3rd before they even get to the 1st corner. It is a great launch for Simone, though. He is way ahead of everybody. No challenge down into the 1st turn. 1 car off. Otherwise, we are clean through turn 1.
That's Carl Villeneuve, who had a great start from the 8th position, sadly out in the 1st corner. Can continue, though.
So down the Moraine sweep, and it looks like Steve Bycroft in quite a bit of a side-by-side battle between himself and Vainiokangas. But up at the front, it's a battle for 2nd as well. Seppa, Millward, side-by-side down into turn 5. Looks like it's going to be Seppa who comes out on top of that. Marco is able to get by Vascalampi for the 4th position. And I think we got a wreck in the background. Looks like Konecki involved in that, as well as Partanen.
Yeah, Derek Rolleveld as well, able to make it right through that one. So we're going to be seeing a replay of that one later, but they had a 3-wide situation. And a bit of a speed. So nothing too major, not too major damage. Sad for a couple of those guys, but the leaders are still continuing their everlasting battle, trying to get some speed into those tires. And Tomas Simon certainly trying to make himself known as the man to beat once again this season, right on the 1st lap of the next one. So Tomas Simon, Severi Seppa, Alex Millward. Now the mission for Severi and Alex will be not to battle each other too much here early on. They can leave the battles to the midfielders, like you can see Severi Seppa trying to move there, I think, on the inside. But other than that, the leaders have to, well, the 2nd and 3rd have to follow the leader right now. And Alex and Severi really have to get into an agreement on who's going to lead this pack.
Certainly, they've got about a second between themselves and P1. So not impossible to try and get back within that draft and hold on to him, but it's also going to be just as easy for Tomas to pull away and make sure that he breaks any hope of a slipstream. Down to the 1st corner for the 2nd time. Those 4 have quite a bit of a distance back to Rinne, who took a number of wins last season. He's kind of in no man's land as we ride on board with Oscar. He's not challenged from behind, where another train starts to form with Andy T in P7.
Yeah, so Oscar Rinne has been dabbling a little bit with endurance racing lately. He's been driving with the new Dallara LMP2 that came to iRacing, the P217 and 217, and well, he was trying to qualify for another series actually just yesterday. So it's really impressive for him to go from the Dallara to the Lotus 79 so quickly, and been talking to him recently. And
we've had an incident.
Oh,
Andy T, Michael de Turk, and Freakton Kata all off course at turn 5. I think it was 2 separate incidents. Freak and one with de Turk, and Andy T. You saw his. He just spun completely on his own.
Yeah, he saw on his own, but Freakton Kata was trying to make a really brave move. You can see it here, up to the inside of Michael de Turk, and just lost it under braking, as you can see here. He loses it there and into the side of Michael de Turk, and well, Freakton Kata out of this event as a result of that, sadly. So Michael de Turk able to keep going, albeit all the way to the back.
We come back to the leaders. Now, Seppa has brought it down mildly. It's about a 10th closer. That's not quite the inroads that he wants, but it seems like he has decent enough pace, at least coming through here to start lap 3. Back up the hill, and it goes back wide once again, 1.2 seconds as they exited the final turn. Good news for Severi is he's starting to put some distance between himself and Millward, who's really more worried about what's happening behind, because Marco is starting to put some pressure on.
Oh, he truly is. Marco Kela has been able to stay very close. Not quite Marco Kela anymore this season. So, you know, he's able to hold on to the back of Alex Millward, who in turn is trying his best to hold on to Severi, who last time around lost 1/10 of a second to Tamás Simon. Now that's nothing major yet, but he doesn't have the draft anymore. So Severi's gonna have to find something, and he's gonna have to hope that Alex and Marco don't start battling with him too much, because the thing is, Alex is being pressured from behind by Marco, so that might cause him to try and make a move on Severi just to get away from the pressure for a moment, but that in turn will slow them both down, and if they start battling with each other right now, then they can say goodbye to the victory. So it's all about Alex having to hold confidence in, strange as this is, you know, in Severi's ability to catch up to Tamás.
And with 23 cars, even though it's a decent field, unlikely to see traffic anytime soon. It'll be late in the race, and it'll probably be thin. So Seppa really is almost on his own to try and make this work. We now hop on board a little bit farther back into 10th. Gernot Frische, last season's champion. This is looking very reminiscent to what we saw last season. And yeah, a pass potentially here with Rasimas looking to the inside of Lithunder. Oh, they're going to come together. Outbreaks himself. Yaki, unfortunately, is going to go off track. Doesn't hit the wall, but he's lost a lot of spots from that.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for Jakke. So Rasimas going for a late move into Canada corner, just lost it a little bit under braking. He was trying to go for a late break, fair enough. He just lost it, and Jakke Lithunder, unfortunately, he won out of that one. So, you know, he lost a lot of ground. He damaged his car as well. Now the number 23 is much closer to position number 23 than he used to be, 16th, and about to get passed by Derek Rollwell.
Jakke doesn't even bother to defend. And, well, he doesn't need to. He goes around the outside. Rollwell stuck his nose in and got rebuffed big time.
Yeah, that was a great move by Jakke Makupalat there, and let's see what he can do here. Run away, or maybe, you know, force to battle for a little bit. Either way, I'm looking at the battle for 7th place meanwhile. Vainio Kangas, Bycroft, and Thomas Thorpe. Why I'm looking there? Well, they got Gerlot behind them, trying to catch them up, and Steve Bycroft, he's got damage from the turn 1 incident.
Oh, we got a car off in front of them. Oh, and it's Marco.
Oh, no.
And Bycroft's going to have a chance, thinks about it down into the hurried downs, but then backs out. And this is crunching them all together. Look at this. Frische right behind Torp and Bycroft.
Yeah, and as we watch this battle, I can inform you outside of your pictures, Marco Kela lost it over the curb at turn number 6 and spun nose first into the wall as they are passing him now into the kink, round the outside for Whitecroft. And Thomas Thorpe can't make his way through and he's gonna hit the wall. Thankfully, it was a soft hit, as soft as it can be in that position, but that gives opportunity to Gernot Fritsche, who in turn makes his way past both Kela and Thomas Thorpe as well. So Gernot Fritsche all of a sudden finding himself in 8th place.
Just when you think that he's not going to be a factor, he proves why he is a multi-time champion, just never giving up. Torp, unfortunately, had to take a tow. He's in the pits. We've lost himself, Villeneuve, and Tenkate so far today. 20 drivers still out on track. As a little bit of a battle behind Fritsche. Trangarade managing to overtake Marco with his slow straight line speed. Meanwhile, we've come back up towards the front where Seppa is trying to distance himself from Millward for second place.
Yeah, practicing a little bit of that and actually catching up to Tamás last time around. 0.2 of a second was Severi Seppa faster, and that means down these long straights he has a bit of draft. Now, can he hold on to him through these fast corners, especially through Carousel? It's gonna be very tricky. Oh, he missed the apex by a country mile there. No. If the apex was in Wisconsin as this track is, he was all the way to Duluth, Minnesota. Is Duluth in Minnesota? I think it is.
Yes, yeah, you're correct on that one. You know your American cities better than I know my Finnish ones. So Millward, who is still chasing, drops back a little bit here through turn 8, but we're getting another bit of cloud cover. It's been in and out today, even though there's quite a bit of sun in patches. So it comes back down to 94 degrees Fahrenheit. I think we had another problem with Peter Konecki, but that looks like a self-spin at the back of the pack. Let's jump back to Oskari Rina. He is closing in on Vaskalampi. The number 4 looks in his mirrors a little bit, but doesn't need to block as he comes down into Canada corner. A little bit off the apex. That allows Oscar to close in just a few more feet.
Yeah, Oscar Rina here very fast indeed. And the depreciator, really, the depressor, Oscar Rinne coming up to the main straight and trying to get a move done on Teemu Vaskilampi. And Teemu really, he's been hanging out in this 4th place ever since Marco Kela lost his position. And he's been all by his own, not anymore, Oscar making move. And Teemu actually lifting. Teemu actually lifted off and let Oscar take the position. And I think that's very smart from Teemu, because what it does is gives him a tow. It gives him a tow all the way potentially to the top 3, because Oscar's pace, it's not bad, even though he had to drive behind Teemu. He was still only 1/10 of a second slower than our leader.
And sad news for fans of Marco. He has had to retire because I believe he blew his engine downshifting on his way into Canada corner. Good news for me, because I don't have to avoid his last name anymore. But in the meantime, we've still got, it looks like 18 cars running, because we also lost Konecki. Not sure what happened to him. The closest battle we've got up at the front right now is between Rina and Vaskalampi still, as we watch them swing through turn 7 into the hurry downs.
The Dementor, I think, was the word I was looking for, not the depressor, the Dementor, because he will, this man, Oscar Rinne, he will steal your soul, honestly. The way he drives, such a young driver, 22 years old, coming into these cars middle through last season, and I was just talking to him, you know, Nürburgring last season, which he won, it was the first track where he really learned to blip on downshifts. He was racing with auto clutch before that.
Wow. That makes it all the more impressive. Yeah. I believe a depressor here over in the States is the little popsicle stick that doctors use to check your tongue. So, I mean, would have been an interesting nickname. Meanwhile, let's jump back to Steve Bycroft, because I think Ove Trangarade just got him. Yeah, he did. And what's interesting is it looks like Steve gave this one up into Canada corner. I think he lifted and let him by. Let's take another look at
that one.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think he made a mistake through the kink. I think he knew that it was going to be a bad situation. He was already slow.
He made a mistake and just gave up the position on the inside, and, you know, didn't want to hold them up too either. You know, Uwe now went past him. I think he knows Uwe has a little bit better pace, and Steve still carrying the damage to his rear wing from turn 1. I think it happened with Carl Villeneuve. They were starting pretty close to each other, and meanwhile, P number 2, Alex Milborn and Severi Seppa.
He's already on the back of him. The Finn takes it through turn 5 and keeps him at bay, but how long can he do this while at the same time trying to run down Tomas Simon? Last season's champion has been very fast here today, taking the pole, has been holding the lead every lap so far, had a fantastic start off the line, but has not been able to shake the number 5.
No, he's not, and Severi Seppa has been really impressing me this season. You know, he had top 5 potential last season. He was top 10, top 5 driver, but he never really looked like, you know, the kind of guy who can, you know, make the jump so quickly. But then it just suddenly happened. Severi Seppa here at Road America, you know, in the 2nd place, just behind Tomas Simon, and not letting him run away. Tomas is gaining a couple of tenths, Severi is gaining a couple of tenths on the next lap. Severi missing a couple of apexes, but he's really trying hard. And look at this, he's 6 tenths away coming to the main straight. If he can hold this, he's got the draft down that uphill straightaway. The most important place you can have the draft for here. And now he needs a good exit. 15 laps to go still. And Tomas already trying to break the toe. 8 tenths of a second, so I don't think Severi has quite the draft he wanted. But let's see the straight line speed on the line. 250 for Tomas, 255 for Severi. So Severi is going a little bit faster already.
And he's cut it down. It was about 8 tenths off the corner. It got down to 6 tenths by the time they hit the braking. Millward was one we were talking about before the season start, or before the race started. That he seems to have good starts to the season and then maybe trails off a little bit. He's starting off well here, at least looking at a probable podium. Let's see what he can do if he can try and get himself a couple more steps up. They're all going to separate slightly down into turn 5 with nobody having any sort of opportunity for a pass. They continue to distance themselves from the next cars back. Rina is about 3.2 behind.
Well, yeah, Alex Milborn is having the career arc as he just made a mistake at turn number 6, but managed to hold it together. He's having the career arc of Nigel Mansell back in the 80s. You know, always very fast, surprisingly fast at qualifying, you know, can put a blistering lap time. The Lion, the Determinator, but in the end, never quite able to pull it off until he got driving aids into his car in 1992. Maybe Milborn needs traction control.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he needs to get himself in a Williams, I suppose, in this series. You can see the Ferrari of Seppa doing a little bit better than real-life Ferraris have been doing these days. But Tomas Simon gaining big time down into Canada corner. Seppa is really putting the pressure on. This could be his best opportunity to get within striking distance so far this race. Let's see what kind of launch he gets out of the final turn.
Yeah, look at Mr. Smith here. He is like the grey eminence, Severi Seppa, on the main straight, trying to catch up Tomas Simon. And let's see the gap on the line. It's just 5 tenths of a second, a little bit under half a second. So now he's got the draft, and now he's got the advantage over Tomas Simon. He can now that he's in the toe, he can wait a little bit. He can gauge what Tomas does. He can maybe wait for a mistake and, you know, throw one down the inside just to see what Tomas does. You know, he can work him. And not only does he have the advantage, but he's also managed to drop Alex Milborn on this lap. So that's 2 very important victories for Severi. And now he can focus ahead.
Certainly, and I think in this situation, Tomas knows he needs to keep them separated if he hopes to keep this lead, because as soon as Severi gets an opportunity, he's probably going to chuck one in there. Meanwhile, as far as drivers having good moves go, let's give a mention to Tobias Rohner, who didn't get a qualifying in from 22nd to 12th place, a little bit farther down the pack for the number 18 car.
Yeah, Pauli Partanen just ahead of him making a move on Derek Rolleveld actually, and Tobias Rohner, who was 12th. Oh, Partanen going very wide, and Rolleveld gonna have that on the inside into turn number 6. Pretty easy move. No, Pauli is actually fighting it back. We accidentally stumbled into a battle.
I was half watching it, so it wasn't totally stumbled into. Certainly having trouble stumbling around the course. You can see how much the cars are squirming. Bad exit for Rolleveld, but Rohner does not appear to be brave enough to send one into turn 8, so he backs out of it, possibly setting himself up for a better opportunity later on in the lap. These trio continue plunging down through the carousel, and now it's into the kink for them.
Yeah, so Tobias Röner was actually all the way up to 12th from the 22nd place, but he just had a 360 at the start of this lap. Managed to keep it going, to his credit, but now dropping a little bit further back behind Pauli Partanen and Derek Rollwell. He's finding himself in 15th place. Granted, Tobias Röner, he's got the livery from about 10 years too late. He missed the livery by about a decade. I love the Leighton House livery, but that's about 10 years too late. That's 88, 89, 1990, roughly.
Well, maybe he's hoping it's a faster car because of that.
I mean, it's Adrian Newby designed, so...
Yeah, there you go. I think it was his first car he designed as well. So, Tobias...
In Formula 1, yeah.
Yeah, Tobias still within a couple tenths here of Roveld, but isn't able to take a dive down into turn 1. Not missing much up at the front. That has stayed stationary. Other than perhaps we should mention Millward is falling away from Seppa even more. Ooh, this is a great run now. The Leighton House car has got a great chance. The number 18 starts to reel in Roveld. Coming down towards turn 5. Defensive move from Derek. Covers off the middle of the track. Back to the racing line for him. They're going to stay in line.
Yeah, he's staying behind for now. Being a nice kid, he may have missed the curfew, and as a result of that was Leighton House. But now he's being a nice boy with Derek Rollwell and trying to just follow him through as Pauli Partanen is working himself away from these guys. So a couple of battles, slow burning battles all over the track, and maybe we should get a look at Mike Rasimas, Uwe Tringeride, and Steve Bycroft for second, 9th, 8th, and 10th. I say 9th, 8th, and 10th because Rasimas actually got past Uwe this time around.
He did indeed. So, 8th place from Mike as he leads well, you talk about another car that's out of its era. This one is the other way with Ove running his traditional Honda colors on his Lotus. Oh, he's very wide, though, coming through the final turn, just sliding the car through. You can get away with that in the Lotus 49, where he also races. Not so much here in the 79, and he drops back slightly. So that's going to separate this battle. Just ahead of them, worth mentioning, we talked about Frisha, who qualified in 11th. He's worked his way up to 7th, but it seems like his advancing has stalled. So the number 1 car really kind of stuck in the mid-pack now.
Yeah, but his pace is not bad. I mean, without draft, he's running 155.2. That's comparable to the likes of Alex Milward, for example, Oskar Rinne as well. Faster than Teemu Vaskilampi, faster than Vainiokangas as well. 4 tenths faster last time around, so I can't help but imagine Gernot is gonna make a move sooner rather than later. And just a itsy-bitsy tidbit on that Uwe Tringeride car. You say it's out of its era, but actually during the late 70s, back around his car, as a matter of fact, I think it was 1978 season, there was a Japanese team called Maki, which was testing a Formula 1 car. And they were trying to make a move from Formula 2 to Formula 1. And Keke Rosberg was one of the drivers who tested that car. And he was very close to a contract, but they gave a local driver a chance as well. And, well, he wrecked the only chassis they had, so there you go.
Oh, of course. Well, I wondered how you knew all this, and then you mentioned Rosberg being in there, and I was like, oh, of course. So, by the way, had a nice battle between Roner and Roveld, and it looks like Tobias came out on top. He made the pass down into turn 1, and then a little bit of an attack back from Derek into turn 5, but could not retake P14. Tobias still with some work to do to get up to Partanen. About 2.2 seconds for the next one up the road. Remember, Tobias did not manage to get a qualifying time in, so he was a little bit out of place. Let's take a look at how this pass happened as we pull up the replay. This is a nice slipstream, gaining speed here, Ozzy, and interestingly, no defense there from Derek.
No, I think that's textbook pretty much. Derek realizing that he's got beaten down to the inside in turn number 1, and he was gonna probably get beaten whichever way he chose. So didn't make a late move down to the inside, allowed Tobias Röner to have to run. And I think those guys have gotten together in the past as well during this race, because as I said, Tobias Röner was already up to 12th place earlier, so he has gotten past Derek Rollwell at some point already. And I think Derek knew that Tobias has a little bit more pace as a result of that.
Let's give a quick glance to our leaders one more time because it's been a minute since we've been up here. And Simone is pulling away from Seppa once again, 1.3 seconds. We've seen this before, Ozzy, where it seems like the differences in setups between the cars can sometimes cause this sort of ebb and flow on who is quick win.
Yeah, so especially during it seemed like when it clouded over, Severi Seppa was a little bit faster, and he has less wing, I think. So that might be the result of that, but it also changes the balance of the car, it changes the tire heat, and you can put a little bit more grip to the ground. The track has more grip when it's clouded over, it's a little bit colder, and Severi, I think he's suffering a little bit as they move later on. Maybe his setup is, a little bit more oversteery. It doesn't look that way, but maybe it just doesn't like as the car gets lighter. But what the Lotus 79 does, unlike any other car in the service, I feel that it's more lively in a sense that the car lives throughout the stint. Like, you get the storm segments where you can just be incredibly fast for a couple of laps. And then you kind of have the calm as well. Like, you're just not getting the grip out of the corners, you're just not getting the speed, and you just kind of have to deal with it and hope the car comes back to you later on. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as they proceed later through the stint. But I think Tamás right now, he's having the car come back to him. His lap times are progressively better and better. He hasn't really made any mistakes. He's gone from 55.3 in lap 7 to 55 flat, 54.8, 54.9, 54.7, and 54.6. Whereas I think Severi, he's a little bit more inconsistent. 54.8, 55.1, 54.9, 55.2, and 54.7. So last time around, he was only a tenth slower than Severi and went fastest, 10 slower than Tamás, and he went faster than he has all throughout this race. But it's still not quite enough. However, I'm still not losing my hope that this is going to be a lead battle. So close is Severi. It's just one mistake from Tamás, and he's right there.
I think that's the big key here, is that a tiny mistake could change the complexion of this very, very quickly. And they are nowhere near to getting traffic. We're down to 17 cars left racing, and all of them on the lead lap currently. And they have, probably more than half a lap to get to the next car with only 10 to go. Unlikely that it's going to be anything but a straight fight between these three, unless Alex Mueller himself also makes a mistake and falls further back. They come around Bill Mitchell Bend and up to the final corner, one of those critical turns onto the front stretch where you have to nail the throttle and get the speed
Oscar
up.
Has made a mistake. Oscar has made a mistake from fourth place, sorry to interrupt you, at Bill Mitchell Bend, and that allows them to get a little bit closer.
Let's take a look at the replay on that one. This is actually a pretty good save. Hopefully he didn't damage the under tray. You're going to see it out of Bill Mitchell Bend. This is Canada Corner, which is right before. Watch the car up over this fast left-hander, over the crest. It's very blind, especially in these low Formula One cars. Oh, he actually got some air.
Yeah, and that's damage. That's definitely damage. There's no way you can make it out of that thing without damage. And you can see it on his front wing, just there on the shot. Look at the front of his car. That front wing is all bent up. And that's gonna also mean there's damage to the underbody of the car. The so precariously fragile Venturi tunnels that run under the sidepods of this car. And you can see Teemu is now smelling blood.
Yeah, he's closing in. It's down to 0.8 of a second. We're on board with him now. I love these views where we can see the hands of the driver and working away, especially in these older vehicles where it is nothing but analog. They plunge downhill. You can also, I feel like this is a perfect example of kind of what the driver sees, even in the sim here, Ozzy, because it's right at about eye line and lets you get a sense of how the crests affect your vision.
Yeah, it does, but it's not quite one-to-one. It's close, but the field of view is a little bit wider, so when you're driving, you're kind of focused on a little bit of a narrower display. And when you see it on a screen, you're going to be able to see the speed a little bit better, the speed that they're doing. But it's incredible how a driver, even at these speeds, you're taking it to Canada Corner at 120 kilometers an hour, that's 70 mile an hour corner. You go all the way to 270, that's about 160 miles an hour through these straights, and you feel like you're on a highway.
And big mistake there from Vascolampi through the final corner. Big slide, cost him a couple tenths, is up at the top of the screen. Simone sets another fastest lap and separates himself from Seppa even more. 2.3 seconds now, and Alex Millward has cut it down to half a second. Was there a mistake in that lap, or what happened there?
Yeah, another mistake from Severi Seppa as well. So 55.1. We talked about the inconsistency of Severi Seppa. I don't think there was a big mistake. I think he's just getting a little bit too loose at this point in the race, and as a result of that, Alex is able to catch up to him. And the pressure is starting to get to Severi, I feel like. You know, the pressure, we always talk about it. We always say, like, you know, he's crumbling under the pressure. That may not be the case. Instead, the pressure might be felt in a different way. He might be, you know, trying to spank himself to go faster, like a racehorse. But he can't get any more speed out of that car, and now he should calm down, let the tires come back to him. There's still a lot of race to go. But the problem right now for Severi is that Alex is not allowing him the opportunity. No longer does Alex have any incentive to wait. Now it's just a fight.
Let's keep the cameras here, but just a note, I'm watching Gernot Frische, who is closing in on the back of Vanio Congas. So he might actually get up to 6th place before this race is over. Still 8 laps to go as the Ferrari leads this pair down into Canada corner. No attempt from Millward on this try. Still applying the pressure, seeing if he can rattle Severi enough to maybe get himself a chance to go on the attack. Small bobbles here and there as the car is being pushed to the limit. That bright red machine already going down to the inside, weaving back and forth to see if he can shake Alex.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Millward's the back of his car looks like a flag in the wind. It's just all over the place. It's flapping all about. And he's still managing to get closer and closer to Severi. So Alex once again suffering from oversteer, and Severi going a little bit wide. Alex looking to the outside, looking for the good exit. That's exactly the right thing to do. Can he get it? Oh no, sliding a little bit too much. But this is why people love Alex Millward. As I said, the Nigel Mansell reference, he never stops trying. And will he try into turn number 5? Joe, maybe?
I think he will. From what I know of Alex, he's going to take it if he finds a whiff of it, and I'm proven wrong. He does not even stick his nose out, although he gets awful close. So Seppa is going to live to fight another day. I don't know how long that he's going to last without seeing that black car suddenly get close to him. Meanwhile, we did have an attempt from Frische, and we're going to get a second one. Up into turn 6. He gets his nose in, puts him offline as Vanio Congas is able to rebuff him, but he's got a multi-time champion climbing all over his gearbox.
Yeah, so Eetu is under some championship caliber pressure. He's a Finn, so Finns traditionally been, you know, people say Finns are the Iceman, but he certainly has to prove it here with Gernot Frische right on his tail. A very fast Gernot, if I may so say, 54.9 last time around. Actually faster than the likes of Oskari and Teemu were last time around, a little bit too far away, unfortunately, for Gernot. And look at him suffer from the understeer through the kink. He had to really lift off there to avoid running wide, and that's gonna ruin his overtaking opportunity into the Canada corner. So next time around, he's gonna be looking to the main straight, up the hill, get a good draft, stick it down to the inside of Eetu, and meanwhile we're going to
It's another shot for Millward. He's in the slipstream. He's not gaining as quickly as I would have thought. Now it's starting to pull him in. Seppa goes defensive and just covers off a little bit of the inside just to keep him from trying anything sneaky. They go back under the cloud cover once more. And here we go again. This is that critical corner exit and a much tighter run through turn 3 from Alex Millward. This is going to be his best chance. Will Severi try to cover off the inside? No, he does not. He's going to let him have it. He's got a nose in, a slight bit of overlap. He's going to have to outbrake him, though. He sends it in deep into turn 5, gets it halfway along inside into the apex, guns it off the corner. Alex Millward is now fully ahead into turn 6. If he can keep it from sliding too far, and somehow he holds the car together to get it into P2.
Wow, so Severi showed an excellent example of how to try and defend the car, the position from around the outside, but Millward wasn't about to be deterred. His lack of straight line speed still enabled him to get that overtake on the braking. Meanwhile, 6th place, we're watching Eetu and Gernot still in that order. Gernot not quite able to get the run onto the main straight that we were kind of predicting. Let's see what happens here to the carousel.
They dropped back slightly from when we last looked at them. Daniel Kangas is hopefully doing his best Kimi impression, making sure he's got ice in those veins. As they now swing through the kink. No advantage found from Freesia that time through, but he is pulling him in. I wonder if there's different downforce levels between the two cars as well, because I noticed that between Millward and Seppa. I would have thought Alex would have been able to breeze by with as close as he was, but I think Alex might have a little bit more downforce, and could be something similar here.
Oh, it's the same for everyone.
See, I was avoiding doing my best Kimi impression, to be honest, as they come across the line. Yeah, Moy, Gernot is just not able to close in like he wants.
That was a great one. That was a hello to you too. But yeah, Gernot not quite able to get close enough. I think you're right. Eetu being, if Eetu can actually hold this line, and if he can keep using his racing line instead of getting too anxious.
We gotta go to Seppa. Seppa's down to the inside. Is he too deep though? Yes, he is. There goes Millward back with the over-under. So a little bit of a foolhardy run from Severi is not going to net him the second place back. Still, that gave him useful information.
Yeah, it did. So Severi Seppa's gonna need a submarine if he goes that deep next time around. And he just tried for an overtake, and I think he made Alex a little bit nervous about him as well. Meanwhile, looking back to the 6th place, Gernot and Eetu still fighting on. And as I was about to say, Eetu's doing a really good job of just holding his line. He's not doing anything extra. He knows that Gernot can't get a run if he just holds his line. Gernot may be close, but no mistakes. That's easier said than done. But so far, no mistakes. And, he has a real chance of holding on if he just keeps doing what he's doing.
All right, down to Canada Corner one more time. The two of them in amongst the trees. Love these old school tracks where it's not a concern about spectator eye lines, just give a sense of speed, give some beautiful scenery as both of them sent it deep down into Canada Corner. Freesia gains a little bit of time with that, up and over Bill Mitchell Bend, back out of the valley, and up towards the main straight they go. It's 4 laps to go now for the pair of them, and Freesia is starting to run out of time to get this done.
Yeah, he is, and man, he's really having to get spicy this time, because running out of time, that's not a good thing at all if you want to make some fish. But Vainio-Kangas and Gernot really in a close battle, and Gernot just looking a little bit of a late break to the inside. That's such a classic Gernot move, and once again he moves to the inside. He's gonna let Eetu know, and he knows that he can't get Eetu to defend that position by being close. So instead he's gonna force him to get anxious about that position. Let's see if it works. Let's see if Eetu defends down to turn number 5, or if Gernot shows his nose and just goes for a late break. No, Eetu will not defend, but he locked up his brakes just a little bit, so Gernot can really work you. We don't see the aggression often, but we see it here maybe into turn number 6. Eetu left him room.
They're going to be wheel to wheel, front to back, just temporarily. He'll get another shot at it, over, under, but Eetu covers off the inside, and Freesia thinks about trying to sell him a dummy, but then comes back to the racing line.
That was, I know that move very well. That's a very familiar move to me, and I was wondering if Gernot's going for it, and I would have given him kudos, but I think he's saving that one for later laps. No need to show all your cards just yet, but Gernot certainly getting closer, and the way he's applying the pressure, that's the world's greatest pressure right now. And Eetu is like in a ring with a caged animal that's been let loose, and Gernot to the inside into Canada Corner.
Can he finally get this one done? He breaks a little bit early. Oh, the car slides, and he has to catch it. He can't get the power down off the corner. Man, a great job by both of them. I thought they were going to come together for sure.
That's the thing with Gernot. That's why, even though he is pulling all these moves, these aggressive-looking moves, you look like he's all over your rear. And still, he can keep his composure. He brakes late, but never too late, or he's gonna get straight past you if he brakes too late. But Gernot, once again, gonna look to the inside, maybe into turn number 1. Let's see if he can pull it off this time around. Marco on the outside, Gernot on the inside, holding his line prettily into the corner and holding it a little bit too well, actually. Gernot, just left the outside a little bit too much room, got over the curb and got loose, and he's gonna have to try it once again onto the back straight if he can get a run. I don't think he is quite close enough this time around.
A2 really is becoming a Kimi Räikkönen here. I cannot believe he is still in 6th place. Down to 3 laps to go now. Gernot has been throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at him. This time he's not close enough down into turn 5. He had to go up into 6. I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that. A quick mention, let's stay here, but Tobias Rohner had some sort of issue, and he has fallen down to 15th as he had a spin of some sort. So out into the hurry downs, the number 1 chasing the number 13 for P6.
Yeah, so not the position we were imagining Gernot Fritsch to be in, and not the driver we imagined him to fight. No offense to Eetu, but I was thinking he'd be more closer to the front in this one. And Gernot, you said he's throwing everything out there, and it's true. He's applying the pressure, but he's still being very nice on the corner entry. You can see it. He's leaving all the room and handsome because he doesn't quite know how Eetu will react. He doesn't quite know Eetu as a driver. But the fact that he is willing to go for these moves, go for these side-by-side attempts, he's starting to gain data, starting to trust Eetu more and more. And as a result of that, that's going to mean he's going to give him less and less space. The last thing Gernot Fritsch wants to do is cause an accident fighting for the 6th place. But he also wants that position. He will not yield. He will absolutely not yield. Whether it's 1st or 6th, he will fight to the max. That's why he's the champ,
Here goes another shot. Last time he was too shallow, clipped the curbs. Did he figure it out this time? Oh, he's actually going to back out of it. He doesn't quite like it. Maybe he'll get a better one coming down into turn 5. Out of turn 3. This is going to be the critical corner exit. Both of them nice and tidy down into the corner, but off of the corner, a little bit of a slide from Frisha.
A little bit of a sideways moment. I don't think that's going to deter him too much, but into turn 1 he wasn't really alongside, so it was a good thing he backed out of it. He's going to look to the inside here, but once again backing out of it, waiting for a better chance. You can see how Eetu is not quite braking on the edge of the track. He's leaving half a car width to the edge of the track constantly, and Gernot will see that. He can see that Eetu is maybe being a little bit paranoid about making a mistake, hitting the grass and the braking, which is fair enough. But Gernot also knows that that's where he has stuff to gain. That's where he can, take it closer to the limit, push it right to the edge. He still has 1.5 laps to go, so he can formulate his game plan. And let's see if that plan comes together here on the dying moments of round number 1 of the championship.
For those wondering about our leaders, not missing anything in P1, Simone a full 5.5 seconds ahead. Millward and Seppa have been close, but we'll keep half an eye on that on our end. We'll jump over there if that starts to erupt. Meanwhile, this is the closest fight within the top 10. Oh, sending it in deep yet again. Frisha starting to show a little bit of desperation, it seems. And he's going to get the white flag this time by, which Simone himself has just taken.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much desperation as, trying to keep Eetu on his toes, not giving Eetu a chance to relax, and that's really taxing mentally. And you can see Eetu take it the middle line, and that's where Gernot has a chance to sell a dummy on him. Look to the outside, Gernot. Now he's going straight to the inside. Eetu actually left it open for him. He's alongside this time, and he's not gonna yield this easily. Can he pull it off? Gernot Fritsch onto the inside, braking once again quite early, leaving enough room. He's still on the inside. To the outside is Eetu Vainiokangas. Vainiokangas into turn number 3 on the outside. Can he pull one on Gernot? Gernot slides ahead and gets past Eetu on the final lap. Wow, but Eetu still has a chance here, Joe.
So Frisha, is he going to have to go defensive? Took him a long time to do this. You can see he's closing. He is going to go defensive all the way down to the grass. Not going to give him the opportunity. Can Vainiokangas pull this one off the long way around? He's thinking about it, but Gernot says, "Et tu, Brute?" And he's going to rebuff him and hold on to 6th.
Yeah, that's not actually something Julius Caesar ever said, but I'll give you that one.
So Frisha took all race to try and get it done, but he's got to hold him off for another half a lap to hold on to it. He's really hustling the car. Look at it slide through turn 8 as well. Let's head over to Thomas Simone. We watched him for a bit as he looked like he might have a threat, but in the end, nobody was able to catch him because the number 3 car put it on pole. And after 3 victories last season, He's going to kick off this season with his first one, back-to-back across seasons. He won the final round of last one. He's going to win the first round of this one here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
The Tsar of the Hervar back on his throne. He's not going to give that to anyone. And second place, Alex Milward. Third place, Severi Seppa. Then Rinne Vaskilampi. And sixth place, it looks like it's gonna go to Gernot. Eetu in the end didn't quite have to respond, but what a battle between these two guys. Wow. And kudos to Eetu as well. He didn't make a single mistake. He just got outraced. And there's no shame in that.
They fought so much. Rasimus nearly caught them up, as he is going to finish just behind them in 8th, Trangarade with 9th, and Andy T rounding out your top 10. Poor Bycroft wound up in 11th, just could not overcome the damage that he earned. Looks like we don't have any more battles past that, as a lot of the drivers have fallen away from each other. But incredibly, we had no drivers finish off the lead lap. No, I take that back. Blackadder came back out. No, he did not. So all 17 finished on the lead lap of our finishers. So let's go to a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. Stick around, because on screen you'll see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Elkhart Lake. Here at Road America, we watched round one of the Lotus 79 Grand Prix, Sunday Grand Prix series, and Tomas Simon had a lights to flag victory, but he received at least a little bit of pressure. So there is hope for those behind that they could maybe find something to overcome our current reigning champion. Alex Milward finished behind him in second after a monstrous battle with Severi Seppa and managed to demote him into P3. Askari Rina finished in P4 as Timo Vaskilampi finished in 5th behind them, ahead of the multi-time champion Gernot Frisha, who gave us quite a show, even though he probably didn't finish as high as he would have wanted, but a 6th place from 11th is at least damage control for him. Eetu Vaniokangas was the one that he fought with, who finished 7th. Mike Rasimas in 8th was ahead of Ove Trangrade P9, and then Andy T rounds out your top 10.
11th place gonna be taken by Steve Bycroft, being hindered by damage from the early on in this race, sadly. Pauli Parkkanen gonna finish 12th ahead of Jakke Littunder 13th. Derek Royal, Tobias Ronell, Michael de Turk 14th, 15th, 16th, and David Acevedo gonna be your last finisher, still on the lead lap at 17th. List of retired drivers, very briefly: Blackadder, Kela, Konieczny, Torp, Tenkate, and Carl Villeneuve. 23 driver field, 17 finishing, but we are gonna talk to the man who finished second with Joe Peak.
Yes, Alex Milward with a nice fight with Severi Seppa. looked like you two were pretty even on pace there, Alex. Although I'm sure you probably would have been able, or would have liked to have been able to keep pace with Tomas today instead.
Yeah, I think all three of us were equal pace for the first half. So I was trying not to pull too many moves with Savetti, just hoping to stay with Tamas and eke away from the guys behind us, which the job was going well. But yeah, last few laps when we started battling, Tamas goes away and his lap times start tumbling. So but really hard race, really good racing. That was well earned, I thought.
Well, this seemed like it was a pretty popular track to start on, as we had a split out here. Incredibly high strength of field. I think it was the 3,800s here today. Is that something that you ever consider and feel proud of, knowing that you're even among the top runners when it's that high of a strength of fields in these races?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm a regular here, so we get some guys who come across with high iRacing, and they put on a good show as well and a good challenge. And it's a lot of regulars who get humbled sometimes if we go to different. I've been doing LMP2, and it's just a completely different world. Like the skill level there is insane.
Well, speaking of going to a different world, we're hopping from North America to South America, Interlagos. Do you think you can maybe get yourself up one more position there?
No, I can't afford the flight, so I'm not going to go to Brazil.
All right, fair enough. Well, again, congratulations on a podium here today, and hopefully we'll see more of you the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That was Alex Millward, second place finisher. Next, Oskari. Oskari is here ready to talk to Ossian about a fourth place finish here today.
Yes, Oskari, welcome once again. A great race from you. Fifth place qualifying, fourth place finish. That's not bad for a man who was driving a Dallara yesterday.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I'm pretty disappointed still because I think I had some pace, but I had contact with Andy at the kink on the first lap, and I took a dent on my front wing, and then I just took the grass route in the penultimate corner, lap 6, and I just damaged my floor. So it was just damage limitation at the end because the car was damaged. I didn't have any top speed.
Yeah, but still, damage limitation, fourth place, that's not too bad. You've been constantly challenging for podiums in this series. So how about next week at Interlagos? You'll have 2 races there.
Yeah, I think I should have pretty much a lot of practice for that, so it should be better. Thomas was really quick today, and I don't think I had him, but maybe top 2 was possible with not broken car. But yeah, 4th place is it's decent.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, Oskari. Any greetings? Any final hellos you want to send?
Not really. You guys, again, thanks for getting the broadcast up, and it's great.
Yeah, it's great to have you here once again. Good luck next week, Oskari, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
And next up, we're going to have Joe Peak talking to a man who finished in 5th place.
Yes,
Hello.
Teemu joins us, and congratulations on managing at least a top 5. But I have to admit, going through your race, it looks like it was at least a little bit lonely compared to most Road America races we see.
Well, I had Oskari with me most of the race. I had so little driving this week that I'm quite happy for top 5. And yesterday was just horrible, all kind of technical issues and stuff. And yeah, I just didn't have a pace. I let Oskari go without fighting. I was hoping he can catch guys ahead and that I could hang with him, but either didn't happen. So, but
No,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, just a top 5 is fine to me. This is not even close to one of my favorite tracks. So we'll see later this season.
Yeah, understandable. Now, I know we've heard from drivers that the latest tire models have not been as susceptible to weather changes, especially temperature changes. We did see some pretty decent swings of temperature with the clouds going in and out. Could you notice that at all in the car, or is it really truly solved now where it's you just kind of set up a general range and the car is good to go?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, but cloudy weather is just horrible for me. I think when I was following Oscar, one of the times I dropped from his draft was when it went cloudy, and I always struggle with when it's cloudy. I'm not sure why it is. Maybe the handling just changes so much. I'm not sure, but I can't handle the change very well. And well, otherwise I just made too many mistakes. But I'm not sure about setup of my race setup. Wasn't tested very well, but it worked okay and safe.
One more before we let you go. My Finnish cohort alerts me that we're going to see a lot more Finns coming into this series this season. Do you and your fellow countrymen work together at all, or communicate leading up to or into these races, or are you not really as involved with that community?
I'm not involved. I work with my setups pretty much alone and so on. This time I tried to work with Oskari, and in upcoming Trailhead League I'm teammate with him, so maybe that was a good practice.
Obviously a bit of a lone wolf out there. Well, thanks for talking to us, Teemu, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you some more as the season goes on.
Bye.
So 5th place finisher Vaskalampi, real quick, I believe Ozzy's going to talk to Andy T, snatching a top 10 today.
Yeah, Andy, it was a decent start of the season, I suppose. 7th starting position. Really, I had you penciled in for a possible top 5, but you ended up 10th. What happened?
Horrible first lap, really. I won't go into too much detail, but my start wasn't great. It was a good launch, but I was blocked. Then I made a horrible exit of carousel and completely got kink wrong. Oskari nearly killed me. Thankfully, we both lived. And then Fruiti decided he wanted to put his wheel in my side pod. And I know it was a mistake, but yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, Fruitti, for those who don't know, Eetu Vainiokangas, referring to that driver here. And so, Andy, how's it looking? Well, Road America race to forget for you, obviously, but gonna look for maybe a more serious championship challenge this season?
I mean, I think I can get top 5s if I can get my head together and not have issues. And the next track should be good for me too. So.
Yeah, Interlagos, how's that looking for you?
Yeah, I mean, I raced it in season 2 and had good pace. Yeah, we'll see. I think it should be all right.
Okay, any final greetings, any final words you'd like to say before we depart?
Yeah, just you guys for the broadcast, all the Lotus drivers, everyone who's helped me the last few months, and shout out to my ARB settings. Let's never mention those again.
Okay, fair enough. That's Andy T, everybody, and hopefully we can talk to him more on the upcoming races. But Joe, I do believe you have some parting words.
I do, and I suppose we know what setup angles that Andy's going to be working on next week. So, quick mention that if you want to get some advertising for your company, you can advertise with GSRC. Just click the link in our description below, the YouTube description. You head to our website, and you can find out how you can get a hold of potentially 1 million monthly impressions. Also, thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast. They are listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And also thanks to the team today, Ozzy, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Check out our social media, which includes Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. We've got a merchandise store also linked in the description below, gsrc.storeenvy.com. And while you're down there, we've got our YouTube page subscribe button. If you haven't clicked it, you'll know it's big and red. Do that, and you won't miss a moment here on GSRC. As we mentioned, next race will be Interlagos. That'll be Sunday, September 27th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen. Check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you're curious about what the next one coming up is, that is Cup Cars at Bristol NASCAR Racing. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern today for the PRL series. Until next time, race clean, race hard, see you on the track.